But from time to time, we certainly have nudges, or we certainly have some communication, let's say, that we can call intuition. So I have this intuition that I should do this. And so something's almost like a feeling. It can be a feeling. It can even be verbal communication, absolutely. But it's that part of you, the wisdom side of yourself, if you will, because the mind is split. And so there's a side of love that's the side of knowing, the side of wisdom, and there's a side of fear, and that side of self is not possible for that side to learn anything. So what are we trying to learn, right? What we're trying to learn, or what we're trying to do really, is to unlearn. So if we start with, and this is a great, easy way for us to just kind of graphically see kind of how we are fractionated, if you will. We could say that God then created...
Tony, could you use the black pen?
I can.
A little better?
Yeah. God created you as a soul. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you, joining with another Mary soul, brother, sister, whatever. So what would it be like to play a game? Let's play a game. What do you want to play? Because we're just children after all. And all we'd ever known at this point were, if you will, would be the thoughts of God, or our thoughts. When we say, Father, thy will be done, Father, thy will might be my will, all we're saying is, I'm not thinking, I'm not a thinking self, I'm an aware self. This is a joined mind. So God's thoughts are my thoughts. I have no thoughts of separation. It's not possible to have that. And so I'm not actually created to be a thinker at all. So, but when we played the game, we said, what would it be like to be like mom and dad, kids playing outside? You know, and when I was young, we'd throw a sheet over the clothesline and stake it down and make a tent out of it and then go play. What were we playing? We were playing grown-ups, right? We were emulating our parents. And as children do, then they pretend and they play and they imagine. And so in this imaginary world, and the only way, in this game, if you will, the only way to imagine, because we never had thoughts, God's thoughts were our thoughts, because we never had thoughts, we pretended then to, in this game of separation, to be the mind of thought, to create thoughts. But those thoughts would be different than the thoughts of God, right? And it would be made up thoughts, because it's impossible for us to be separate from God. So really what happened is that our mind became split. And through this split, and the reason I'm going to say we basically have three sides here, but we have our higher self, or our true self, which is nothing more than our right mind. And then we have a self that we created, a mind, a thinking self, and we identified and we call it as ego, right? And so this self cannot learn anything because it's illusion. It's a mind made up of whole cloth. There's nothing there. So it really can't learn anything, because everything that it learns is temporary. Here today, gone tomorrow. And whatever it imagined it could learn is lost to it, because all of its thoughts are illusions. Because all of its thoughts are founded in a concept that's not of God, called fear. Because everything of God is love. Because God is love. And so in this game, as we drifted off into an imaginary play, it's kind of like being asleep. We kind of became hypnotized by this thinking self, created this thinking self to occupy the void, because as soon as we separated ourselves, if you will, in our imagination from God, then we kind of cut off the flow, so to speak. But we couldn't really do that, because God created you in relation, and you cannot be outside of a relationship. That's impossible. You're in relationship with everything, or you're in relationship with everything that you will wake up to that is a potential for you to be in relationship to. I mean, you're in relationship to the chair that you're sitting in right now, but you probably haven't thought about that at all since you've been here. That you're having a loving relationship experience with that chair. It's loving you and caring for you. So this self is love, this self is fear. This self, there's nothing for it to learn because this is the self of knowing. Nothing to learn. This self can't learn anything, this ego self. So who is it that's waking up? What's happening? That we could learn something, or what part of us is desirous of awakening? And that would be this self, the Christ in you. The Christ in you is continuously even, and cannot, there's no neutral here. It's either focusing or giving its awareness and attention to this self, of the small self called the ego, or through the experience that we create of a miracle, a shift of perception, we shift to this side, and now we are one with or in touch with and being informed by our right mind, our true self, the Holy Spirit, our high self, the self of knowing, and we are experiencing divine love, the divine mind of love. And it's us is what we're experiencing. And we could say that we're experiencing God, but you are God. Oh, that's blasphemous. Please don't say that. It's hard enough for us to say that, maybe I could be Christ. Maybe I can wake up to Christ. Maybe I can pretend to be Christ. But to pretend to be God, that's really, very uncomfortable, too far out there. But we're moving from an idea of separation, which is just a game, an act of consciousness, towards oneness of love. So what we're really waking up to is the knowing of ourself. And in that process, we return to sanity. This is an insane mind, and this mind is the mind of sanity. And that's it.